Hi everybody, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the week of the 13th through the 19th. My name is Veroosh and I'm excited to be here with you guys to do this reading for you guys. So since you guys like it so much, we are going to do an intro with astrology and then we're going to do an all sign reading based on random order for everyone. So thank you for everybody to join us, and I hope you're having a good week. I left some notes for you guys on Twitter why I haven't posted this week. It's a mix of stuff. Some of the stuff I want to mention, some of it I don't. Nothing too bad or a big deal. I did get a little hurt this week, which doesn't usually happen, but it threw me off of whack a little bit. But, you know, Mercury's direct today, or yesterday really, so I think that we're up and away, ready to go, and it feels good to be going in a good direction again, right? So what else can I say? There's been a lot of talk about like who did what in the spirituality community. I talked about that on my Instagram. I usually delete those things because I don't want to leave them up, and I feel like there's two sides to things. There's people who actually created a lot of content, and then there are people who have maybe purposefully or inadvertently copied that content. And so there is a bit of a conflict between the two different groups. And I just feel like it's part and parcel with a bigger issue that we're all facing in the world, and that is that corruption affects some people, and overall in society we're very permissive of it. This is what happens with racism, this is what happens with sexism and a lot of different things. That doesn't make a situation a wrong situation right, because people are enabling it or don't understand the issue. And furthermore, I'd like to say that there's gaslighting going on. Gaslighting is when people are manipulating a situation to try to make it seem one way, whereas in fact they actually mean something else, are contributing to the problem. So as a person who created Pick a Card and All Sign, I want to reiterate to you guys, if you care about human rights, if you care about appropriation, if you care about things like prejudice, like racism and sexism, that you should care about this, because this affects you and your well-being and the people around you. So, you know, people who are benefiting from copying, of course they're going to say it's a non-issue, but the point is that it affects other people disproportionately badly, and it's a tough world out there to stick up for your rights. So that's just all I want to say to that. And you guys can support that by, you know, being aware that appropriation is an issue. It ruins whole industries. You know, I got messages this week like that artists are afraid to put out their art because they're afraid that it's going to get copied. There's just a lot of like uncouth behavior that goes alongside with it. So if you think that it's like a nice little benign thing that and you're not hurting anyone, in fact, it's not necessarily so. Having said that, somebody who talks about astrology with 400 videos or whatever it is, and there's like 5 videos that are on astrological topics, that in and of itself is not an issue. And I feel like people need to really understand what they're kind of dealing with. If you want to talk about tarot or astrology, everybody's welcome to it. The issue is not that. The issue is when you take somebody else's work and you make money off of it for yourself. And that's at the expense of others. As you guys know, I've gone through quite a bit of harassment, quite a bit of unfair behavior. This is, you know, I built this channel in order to protect myself against racism I was experiencing in Vancouver, because there's a lot of it. And those advantages that I built up for myself were eroded by behaviors that supported copying, that supported plagiarism and appropriation. And so these things have deep consequences, and I feel like, yes, you can say it's not a big deal, but it is a way in which people empower themselves to make their lives stronger, to protect themselves from corruption in their life. And, you know, when people copy, they erode our ability as individuals to protect yourself, or to in some way protect yourself against corruption in your life or unfairness in your life. So it's a big issue. I just, sorry to mention it. It came up again. There's a lot of fine lines where on one side, you know, taking inspiration from someone is totally okay. And then there's like a line you shouldn't cross where you're stepping into territory of theft and plagiarism, and that becomes like other types of issues. And so, you know, we seem to be in 2020 talking about human rights and corruption and what's fair and what's not. And you end up being a hypocrite if you support one and not the other, because it's either that you support people and individual human rights, or you don't care about human rights at all, and one is the same as the other, in my opinion. So, and you know, and if you're getting upset that you're getting copied or stuff like that, remember, don't take it so personally. You know, half of my stuff's been ripped off, so we know this, it's everywhere. Don't take it so personally. Here's my advice, because that's what happens in society. That's why, you know, there was segregation as long as it was because there was, you know, people like things like you couldn't go to school with people of color, or African Americans were segregated from whites, and you couldn't drink from the same fountain, you couldn't go swim in the same pool. That's because and if you are African American and you're hurt by that, know that it's not against you. That's how human beings are. Human beings do have a tendency to support this privilege, to support things, and it's really hard to kind of get your voice heard or address corruption or address unfairness in the world. So that's just my healing words for the African American community, who I often hear say, why weren't people standing up for us? I think that's a human thing, that people tend to be that way, and I'm, you know, really sorry that happened for so long. And hopefully we can all get on the same page about what's wrong and what's right and start moving forward together. People with privilege will try to destroy that idea. People with privilege gain benefit. They have privilege because this corrupt system gave them that privilege. So they're going to fight to keep it because they're benefiting from it. So if somebody is saying, oh, that's not right, you know, all that stuff, that's just their privilege talking. They don't want to lose what they've gained from it. You know, there's a lot of corruption and unfairness in the world. It's good to address it, but also at the same time, don't let it define you, and don't feel like people don't care about you if you are not getting protection, if you're not getting, you know, and there will be a lot of assholes who will target you because of it. You know, there will be a lot of individuals. Those individuals' voices sound really loud in the crowd, but the point is that they are individuals, they're just being loud. So if you're feeling bullied, or if you feel like somebody doesn't like you, remember, those people that are trying to hold you back, they're probably 1/10 or even less of the population. They're just louder, and they're just the vocal jerks that are trying to, you know, bullies, you know, just that's all it is. Okay. So I wasn't going to talk about it, but since the astrology is what it is, it's really to do with these transits. So here's our segue, guys. We have the opposition this week between the Sun and Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter. So that's only happening once this year. We have a new moon happening on next Monday, not this Monday, but next Monday in Cancer. So this is going to be an intense week in which a lot of oppositional energy is going to come up. A lot of things I expect to happen in the world at large, in politics and so forth. Things will continue to unravel and come into conflict. There will be a lot of, I'm one for, a change. I'm one for this transformation of confronting unjust circumstances. But the problem with that is you have to really understand history and politics, who's who and what's what, to understand what's fair. Because as I always say, you have to fight the racists and not the race, because if you fight the race, you're going to create more racism. That's how we got to where we were. We were fighting races and not the people that were doing it. And oftentimes the racists are the privileged perpetrators that are, hijacking the whole narrative. So I feel like in the world we need to confront this, and we keep on talking about it and spinning our wheels, but I feel as though as collective groups we're still allowing to be led, and we're being led down a road in which a lot are governments that are led by often unqualified people are spending copious amounts of money to support the select few. That's this Capricorn energy. And this is happening in your life as well, but let's talk in the bigger realm. And we're still nodding our heads to massive spending that isn't benefiting everyone equally and is getting advantage for the ruling class. I know that sounds really cliche, or the ruling elite. And remember, the people who run the system are from the system. They were put into these positions because they are of the system, so they reflect on both sides. And so it's important through this confrontation. I see a lot of people recognizing what the problem is, but people are still holding back from pulling the trigger, and I think that's motivated by a lot of fear. Also, the narrative is being hijacked by privileged people that are coming into conflict or challenging the system that we have for their own benefit. So it's not for human rights. They're saying they're using the narrative that is valid, the one in which that we're talking about with regard to emancipation and revolution, and they're hijacking it. They're taking it for themselves, but they're just privileged people that want another rule of order to come over and control us. And this sounds like a lot of strategy, a lot of games, and it is, but these games are not, they're very serious games. And I feel like we need to be more proactive at this time and not ashamed to talk about our things, not be so ashamed to confront them, to talk about them, to put them front and center. So that's the opposition between this Capricorn energy and the sun being our life force right now in Cancer, and Capricorn transits here in with Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in a stellium. So they're actually technically almost out of a stellium now, but it's still a lot of energy in Capricorn, and so it's us against it, whatever it is, whether it's your personal or public life. And that's all on a square to this area, and that's the other hot spot astrologically this week, and that is Mars creating a conjunction with Chiron. And this is going to give us the agency, both privately and as groups, to do something about it, to confront it head on, and something that's hurting you, having more power and motivation to act up for it on your behalf. And I implore you not to hold back from doing that. Furthermore, Mars is in a beautiful angle to Venus this week, which actually adds a lot of compassion. So it's not just anger or brute force. It's a lot of compassion, a lot of understanding, a lot of really connecting with what's right from our heart, And then the other aspect that is really important for us all week is Mars with Uranus. They're forming a beautiful aspect. And what that aspect is creating is an ability to talk with other people and find solutions, right? So find solutions. My favorite day of the week, by the way, I mentioned all of the astrology in the description if you want to see it for yourself, is on next Saturday, the 18th, and that is right here when the moon is going to be forming a conjunction with the North Node at the end of Gemini. That's going to give you next Saturday a very profound connection to some inner truth and inner guidance of which direction you need to go. From that point on, I would say from Saturday on, get quiet, get still, get really connected to your inner voice, and get prepared for the new moon on Monday. And that should, in some way, really give you vision about where to go with things on a personal level. Don't be a lemming. Don't nod your head. Call out and think critically and call out hypocrisy for what it is. Because I see a lot of this beating of the drums, sort of speak, like people pounding their chest, and a lot of it is through privilege, and they're getting away with it, but that doesn't mean, but getting away with it is what's causing the problem. I'm trying to say it succinctly. So, and you know, you will realize that a lot of people are unapologetic about their privilege. A lot of people are unapologetic about the benefits that an unfair system gains them, whatever it is, be it age, sexism, which means gender, or race, whatever it is, whatever point of privilege that they're gaining benefit from, don't be so welcoming to enable that in others, and question whether or not you are living through a level of privilege yourself, right? Another thing I like to say is everybody on the internet is privileged. If you think about it completely in terms of world views, because that's where my heart is really with the whole world at large. And when we look at these things and put it in perspective, that's why pick a card and all sign never gets me that upset. Because it gets me upset from a worldview perspective, because when we really look at it, everybody who has access to the internet has access to the internet because they already possess a certain level of privilege. So that puts things in perspective as to who has what, and that's the problem with talking about human rights. That's the problem with talking about politics. At some point, and this is why I quit politics, because at some point you're going to hit a wall. At some point you are like a theoretical wall or a philosophical wall. Because unless you recognize that your experience is gaining you benefit at the cost of other people, unless you're really honest about it, you'll at some point hit that wall of understanding that you are the one holding privilege, that there's a lot of people that are being held back. And if you want rights for yourself, you have to recognize that maybe your well-being is holding other people back from their rights. So it becomes a very complicated issue, and it very quickly turns into hypocrisy. And so if somebody is virtue signaling, if somebody's saying being pious and all that stuff, then I feel like that often is problematic, and we need to really dig down deep and understand the fundamentals of corruption, of what's right and what's wrong, and be honest about it. But I feel like a lot of people don't even have the ability to be honest about it, whether it's they don't know the history or the politics, or they just don't care, or they're only lobbying for themselves. This is the last thing I'll say about all of these issues. There's a difference between fighting for human rights and lobbying. Lobbying means that you're taking on the desires of a particular group of people and you're fighting for their rights. That's lobbying. That means that your concern is not what happens to everyone. Your concern is what happens to one group of people. For example, the cigarette lobby that lobbied for the rights of cigarette companies to advertise through the 70s and 80s, despite the fact that they knew that it was carcinogenic, right? That's lobbying. But there's good forms of lobbying, like on behalf of a particular group of people, right? But we are confusing lobbying with human rights, and human rights is essentially saying that people have similar rights between them and that we need to uphold them. So when I fight for human rights, I don't fight for a particular group. I fight for fundamental rights between all people. So that's what I'm talking about. And so copyright infringement, appropriation, that's all a human rights issue. Although it can also be a lobby. I'm speaking on it from that perspective. And I just can't conceive of the idea that I just feel like we need to really put away that people are different based on certain characteristics, such as innate characteristics. I think what makes people different is their character, the way that they think, the way that they treat other people. Those things are differences that we should uphold, but no physical characteristic should be a divisive piece between people. And that's really seems simple, but when you're fighting for one group's human rights, you very quickly become a hypocrite, because when oftentimes people become hypocrites when they do that because they're not considering the human rights of other people. Hopefully I made my point, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this stuff. It's close to my heart. It's very important. And this week, again, it was very triggering for me in the sense that I saw, like, when I see the hypocrisy of it all, the difference between lobbying, people who are pretending like they're fighting for human rights, but they're actually just fighting for the rights of a particular group of people. And then when I see people buying it that way, and people of privilege love to do that. They love to virtue signal and say, oh, look at this group of people's hurt and they need more rights than people over here. And that becomes really problematic. So I hope we start fighting for human rights instead of just lobbying for our own rights. Okay. And that will really win against racism and all forms of things. And people's individual rights need to be protected in terms of appropriation. You know, these systems, they enable it to happen. You know, with Pick a Card, it's the bigger system that's allowing people to appropriate, and it's not easy to address. It's ruined industry after industry. Infringement. Fast fashion is a great example of it, where wonderful designers have a hard time selling their goods because people copy and they make quick, cheap designs from their creations. In makeup industry, this happens all the time. And I think if you're a true artist, then you understand what I'm talking about. So I'll leave it at that. It's a long conversation, 24 minutes, shit. I was thinking of going on Instagram to do this talk, and I'm like, if you don't say it on Instagram, you're going to say it on YouTube. But hello. But I hope this helps people understand what the actual conversation is about, right? That people I got really hurt for 3 years by people who were appropriating from me. Really hurt. And lines were really crossed, like people contacting me inappropriately. I was harassed, or stalked, all sorts of different things, and that's the dark side of appropriation and allowing these things to continue. Okay, thanks for hearing me out, guys. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Hopefully that's inspiring. I'm not talking about it. It's actually really hard to talk about it for myself, but I feel like it's very important to talk about because I see this as an evil in society. I see this as something that's holding people back, and I feel like I want to share it so that maybe if you're going through something that's similar in your own experience, this empowers you to kind of not feel guilty for your experience, so that you don't feel guilty, so that you don't feel beat down by a world that's screaming at you that you don't matter, that your human rights don't matter, and so forth, because they do. Okay? All right, so let's rock and roll. Who's first? Scorpio. Go figure. Okay, so here we go. So let's take a look. We have 7 days, 7 cards. I'm just going to keep it simple for the rest of the reading today because the intro was really heavy. So I do appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real, guys. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we can do chronological. You can choose your own order, or you can just go alongside Monday through Sunday with me. So day 1, Scorpio, you have the 9 of Wands. You're waiting for an outcome to something, definitely a passive time. I saw this really come up for you guys on in the Instagram post that I did. I felt Scorpios were really happy with what they achieved or where they were at, but they were very like nurturing and coddling and protecting themselves. Day 2, Tuesday. So I think you recharge on day 1, and by Tuesday you're off in a flash. I feel like a powerful connection with another person, possibly a Leo, really gives you strength on this day and gives you empowerment to move forward. Day 3, Wednesday, we have the 8 of Swords. There's still a problem that you don't know how to solve regarding an issue. There is definitely still some kind of a question mark, a wall that you keep hitting. I feel like it's regarding a situation with someone else. I feel like it's regarding your relationship with someone else and that kind of thing. You're in some way ready to go ahead with your life, ready to go ahead with your circumstances, but there's something that's binding you. There's something that is holding you back, or you keep on being referential or thinking to something of the past that is significant to you, that's important. Thursday, Queen of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. There's a very openness that you achieve on Thursday, Scorpio. There's a compassion, a holistic way of thinking about things deeply, understanding things from a profound level, and understanding things from a profound level, thinking about things deeply. I think it's a very pensive week for you. In fact, I think that you're ready to go, but there are definitely things on your mind that make you really want to think about the past, addressing things, where you will move forward. I think you have an openness to love. You feel compassion and a readiness to love. Here is the next message. We have the Ace of Wands. That's Friday. So Friday is the 17th. We're heading right into the pre-new moon energy here. So there's this, you definitely are waiting for your time here, ready to set sail in a new direction, Scorpio. Just really about to embark in a new direction, to move forward towards something, to feel empowered towards something. Then we have the 4 of Pentacles. Again, holding back. So it's like push, stop and go, stop and go. In your heart, it's not time to pursue something yet. So you keep on holding back, holding back, holding back. But parts of you are ready to move forward. You're waiting for the right time. You're waiting, maybe something new will come in for you, possibly on Friday, that will make you feel more ready, but I don't think it's time quite yet. And then we have more encouraging messages on Sunday, or day 7, 8 of Rods. Maybe you're waiting to figure out a relationship with someone. You're waiting for their feedback about how they feel. Maybe you're just waiting for somebody to make up their mind in relation to your relationship. And I feel like maybe you know where your heart is at with things, but still you're waiting for the other side to sort of reciprocate. If it's not regarding a person, you're waiting to see how a situation evolves. You're waiting to see how things will continue moving forward. Okay? Thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys have a nice day. Okay, so next sign, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hi guys, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Let's take a look at your cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can choose your own order. I forgot to mention it into the intro. So choose your own order or go alongside with me. Let's take a look at your cards. So your first message, day 1, we have the Hierophant. And so I feel like on this day, I feel like you've reached a level of mastery, Capricorn. I feel like you've reached a level of mastery and success. And now you have like brought in on for yourself empowerment from which you can kind of, you're up on a hill, you know, and you're in some way elevated in perspective, and you are kind of in a position to judge or make decisions about the things you've experienced. This is a very cathartic time for you, a point of reflection. You're thinking about what it means for you spiritually, and I think that you have this discernment about you on this day. You're judging your life. You're deciding what your life is about. Day 2, we have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay. And so I feel like this is really a time in which you're thinking in a very deep way, Capricorn. You're thinking profoundly about your life. The sun is opposite to your sign right now in Cancer. So you feel in some way this very big draw towards reflection. There's a big focus on who you are around in terms of relationships, what they mean to you. But then there's this also big piece for you that's going on the second day, especially highlighted, Tuesday possibly, in which you are thinking about like work, where work is going, how work is going to be. And I feel like where work is going, how work is going to be, what it's all about. It's very like compartmentalizing and putting your personal observations up on a shelf and then focusing on detail and moving forward with things. Day 3, Wednesday, we have the 7 of Cups. And so I feel like you can see around you a world where there's a lot of illusion, there's a lot of like crappery going on, a fakery that's going on around you in different ways, and that there's a lot of, you're finding it hard to trust specific things around you. You're finding it hard to trust because there is so much illusion there, Capricorn, but you have such a strong position that it's like, it's like, would you invest in a company that like buy stocks for a company that you don't really understand? Like, or maybe crypto, like, what is this about? What are they doing? Like, what is the actual like foundation of what's going on here? You feel like it's unwise for you to pursue something, a particular direction, because you feel as though there's a lot of superficial information about it, but there's nothing that is profound or of sustenance. And now you have a lot on your hand financially. You're strong, and you're strong monetarily, financially, all of that stuff. And so it's hard for you in some way you feel like you're risking a lot in this environment that you don't fully trust. Then we have the Empress. It's like, what the message to me is here, that you have so much within yourself, Capricorn, that you don't necessarily need to be, I know it feels intimidating that something's not clear, or it seems like something's not quite true to you, not quite honest, not quite as transparent as you would like it to be. But I feel like you have it all within yourself, and you don't need to really focus on the outside influences or forces upon you. There's enough within you to sustain whatever it is going on, and it's not for you to, don't get caught up in these, whatever's happening Wednesday that's making you scratch your head and wonder. I don't feel like you need to. I don't feel like you need to worry about that. And then we have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, you're on your A game. It's, when we feel it the most, this like, what kind of environment am I in? That's when you have a lot to lose. Because when you don't have a lot to lose, anything goes. Like anything that works the best goes, with the program. But when you have earned a certain level of success, you are like, WTF, like, who's with whom and what's going on. And it's not in your personal relationships. This is all like business or work. You're thinking about your future. I think your personal relationships are really strong this week. I feel like you have very good people around you that love you a lot. Your mother, if she's around, very strong connection with her at this time, and you feel strong within yourself as well. So it's not in the personal realm. I feel like it's very much in how you see the world operating. A lot of what I said in the intro. And then we have the Knight of Swords, and I feel that way as well. Very similar energy. We have the Knight of Swords. So there's going to be an information. Remember, on the 18th, if you're going along with my order, and this is Saturday, on the 18th, the moon creates a conjunction with the North Node in Gemini. There's going to be a call from the heart, some kind of awareness from our soul, from our inner understanding. Remember, the moon is a part of the earth. It separated 4.53 billion years ago in a massive collision with a theoretical protoplanet named Theia. I talked about it on my Veroosh Astrology IG if you're interested. So the moon reflects, it's a very like, the Vedics say it's the mind, the Western astrologers say it's the emotions. I feel like it's the soul essence of who we are. And when it creates a conjunction with the North Node, which happens every month, which is nice, it's a really good day for us to really sit with ourselves and understand where we are going. And so the Knight of Swords is an air sign, and I feel like there's a message that's coming to you to clarify, where you fit in all this. You can't control how the world is, Capricorn. And I think you get intimidated because you start wanting to try. You start wanting to make things safer around you. And that can be very mind-numbing because you can't control other people's choices and actions. And then on Sunday, we have the Two of Cups. Very close time with your friends and family on Sunday. Just closening of bonds, getting closer, getting situated, reacclimated. I think you're going to get really grounded this week, Capricorn, and I think that you are going to, in some way, really settle in and get your priorities straight with regard to people around you. Get your priorities straight with regard to you against a system you don't really trust or an environment you don't trust. But I think that this will be a very good time for you and your family and loved ones, okay? So next signs, I'm going to go a little faster for the rest, okay? So we have Virgo next. Okay, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 7 cards, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do your own order, or you can go along Monday through Sunday with me, okay? That's up to you. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This helps other people see the video as well. Okay, so we have the star. Virgo, this is a very lucky week for you if you have the star coming up in day 1. There is going to be a connection with someone with whom you would assume to be a soulmate. Things are falling into place. This is telling me that this is a time for you to put certain affairs in order. It's the sun is an aspect to your sign in a very favorable position. It's the last favorable position before your birthday. So the gates are open up for you before we move into Leo the following week, Leo season. So Virgo, this is your time to double down, or whatever's coming to you, address it. This is your time, your last time before you become a year older, to sort of shift things around in your environment. And that might be, I feel as though there's a person on this Monday that becomes important, a person who comes through with solutions. Then we have the Emperor on Tuesday, day 2. A lot of this is like you've done a lot of organizing in your life. A lot of organizing, a lot of putting things in order and tying up loose ends. And I feel like now on Tuesday, you spend some time really realizing what you want to do and how you want to do it, and what you're going to do with what you find out on Monday. So day 1, day 2, you're going to be really contemplating on Tuesday how you're going to make things work. And Wednesday we have the Queen of Wands, and then you make it seem easy. You put things into play. It's not going to be so heavy. It's not going to be so intense. The work's been done, Virgo. We've been talking about it for weeks, and now everything's coming into play. Now you're going to, it's almost like you know when people set up the dominoes and you push the domino and then it kind of falls in a certain pattern. This is the week in which you push those dominoes, and maybe it's going to be next Monday with the new moon in Cancer at 28 degrees, but you're leading up to that position where you're initiating something that you've begun, that you've established, and now you are moving forward with your plans. You have the Seven of Pentacles Thursday. Oh, this is good. This is Jupiter Day, you guys. So if you got the Seven of Pentacles here, then I feel like you're very much making plans for the future or doubling down for something. This is your time. This is a wonderful time if you're thinking about money issues, money things. This is a wonderful day for you to make some plans. You're going to invest some money, put some money into something, buy something that is going to give you some growth on this day, that's going to give you some opportunity to, kind of get more in the future. Friday, we have the Ace of Wands. Who else got this? I think Scorpio did. But we have the Ace of Wands, new beginning, a new passion. Remember, this is pre-new moon in Cancer, so this is the time when the moon is forming the conjunction with the North Node. So inspiration on Friday is going to be a big thing. Lots of inspiring energy. Saturday, we have the Magician girl, Mercury, right? Mercury rules the Magician. So I just feel like you put a lot of ducks in a row, and I feel like it's playing out for you now. I've been feeling bad for my Virgo readings, and I was getting quite self-conscious because I'm very hard on myself, as you guys can hear. And so I feel like all the readings were coming through like work, and I was getting self-conscious that was translating into your reading from my own way of doing things. But I can see now that you've reached that plateau, like you've worked yourself up to a certain level, you've organized things to a certain level, you're putting it into play. This to me also is a card of somebody who is making moves on you, or someone who's interested in you. There's a lot of this kind of like someone's around you who thinks that you're legit, who thinks that you're a dope chick, a cute guy, whatever. I feel like somebody, like there's like a profound attraction here. Maybe it's your partner who's making some kind of nice gesture towards you, a friend. It doesn't have to be romantic, but for many of you it is. There's just a lot of things are being put into play. You've prepared yourself for a lot, and this is kind of the domino effect of it playing out. And then you have the Six of Swords moving on. So, or moving towards a specific direction. This is coming through as a really big week for you, Virgo. I feel like there's been a lot of winding up of things and getting things in order to work in cooperation together. I know that's why I've been missing in part-time, is trying to get things organized in the right way. It was really messy. There was a lot of messy things going on, but I feel like this is really a really good week for you, Virgo. Think of the long term. That's what I would mention, and look for miracles coming in, and there's definitely someone who's trying to reach out to you. Okay, so that's your message from me for this week. Let's see the next message. We have Sag. Hey Sag, sun, moon, and rising. Hey girl, rock and roll. Let's see. All right. Well, Jake, you can actually leave the channel if you're so inconvenienced by me talking about human rights. You're probably a person who's benefiting. Thank you for deleting the message. Entitled, right? Jake, what a name, right? It's like a Chad name. A white guy inconvenienced about people talking about human rights. Whatever. Okay, Sag. Don't let Jake ruin our party. We have good managers, account managers. Everybody who's complaining about copyrights is essentially a Karen, you know, inconvenienced by the system that they're being asked to amend to make it more comfortable for other people. That's all it is. All right, Sag. But that's a good learning opportunity. There's always people that are getting triggered, right? By people trying to make the world a bit more fair for themselves. Okay, Sag, 7 cards. I don't want to put his energy into your reading. All right, Jake. It's a fake name, so I know I'm not making fun of anybody. It's probably a chick anyway. It's probably one of the pick a card ladies. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll. Number 1 for Sag. Most of my first house is in Sag, so here we go. Let's take a look at our energy. We have the 6 of Cups. Ooh, there's like a profound connection. Sorry, they're making fun of like the Chads, the Karens, and the Jakes of the world. Six of Cups. Okay, so 6 of Cups represents that this week, Sag, you're going to have a profound emotional connection with someone, and it's someone who's very near and dear to your heart. It's someone with whom you've had a lot of shared history. Sorry, they're making fun of it. And then we have the Page of Cups is the day 2. Hold on. I have to not read your guys' comments because they're too funny. You guys can read the comments over there about all that, but I want to give Sag a good reading. So we have the 6 of Cups. There's a profound connection that you feel with someone else. And there's a profound connection that you feel with someone else. There's a lot of past referential energy, like references to the past. And on day 2, I feel like that motivates you to, in some way, start a new beginning, to go in a new direction and to take the plunge towards something. So it's like, aha, this really matters to me. And this makes you more kind of motivated to pursue something that's near and dear to your heart. The next message is the 4 of Cups. And so there will be some kind of a mirror effect, a feedback from the world by Wednesday. Somebody is going to give you some kind of energy to help. There's going to be a sign that comes in that helps you to identify that the road that you're choosing to go on now, the path that you're taking, is going to be good. Somebody might invite you somewhere. Someone might say something nice. There will be definitely some kind of a pushback. Here is the next card, Thursday, and we have the Sun, breakthrough moment, happiness. I feel like you identify in your heart, Sag, what is important. You identify in your heart what is important, Sag, and I feel like you in some way make a change this week. And it's really that Mars in aspect to Venus. It's Mars is in Aries and Venus is in Gemini, so they're in aspect to your transits in Sagittarius. Really, really nice on both sides. And so in some way, you know, what is good for the heart becomes very clear, and that makes you very happy when you realign with what's in your heart, who's in your heart. You decide to go with the person that's in your heart. You go with what's real. And then Friday, we have the 9 of Swords. There's a fear that overtakes you on Friday. I'm sorry. There's a fear that overtakes you on Friday about these things. But it's because you're putting yourself out on a limb with something. You're worried that it's not going to work out in the way that you hoped, or the way that you're taking a big chance with something. You're willing to make a 180, change the direction of where you are going. You were going that way and now you're going the other way. And that's very a vulnerable place. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles, but you turn your back on it. It's very practical energy when we have the North Node conjunct the moon on Saturday. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. You get your perspective of where your goals are. You might change your goals this week. And then by Saturday, I feel like you will really focus in on what you are doing. You will focus on what you're doing, on what, like tangible things, making things work, despite the fact that you have a little fear about going in this direction. And I think that that's going to start making changes in your life. You got the Tower. You can't deny it, what's in your heart, Sag. You can't deny what's true. And so you can't suppress what is truly of yourself. And sooner or later, it's scary to go in this direction of authenticity, or of what is yours and what is true to you. But I feel like it's scary to go down this road. It's not going to work to not go down it, because it's going to make you hella depressed and all sorts of bad things. But also at the same time, you are going to change your world by doing it, right? Change your environment by working really hard towards that what matters. So essentially what this means is, what you were doing Monday to Friday before is something different than what you'll be doing in the future. If you're watching TV every day for a while, now you will be working out or pursuing this dream. So that's the change that you're facing. It's like, but you can't not do it. Have you ever gone against what you wanted to? How did that work out? It didn't last very long, and then you were kind of pushed into the direction of what you wanted again. Some of these things are bigger than us, of where we need to be, or who we need to be, or with whom we need to be, all those things. Okay, so Aquarius next, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Aquarius is so strong right now. Oh my gosh. No joking around energy for Aquarius. Again, I got the vibe for the weekend that you have a lot of things in a row. You have a lot of things lined up in a row. You have a lot of things just, you've been working really hard. You've been making your decisions, Aquarius, that you've been making have been for a time extremely difficult decisions. Like, you've been putting things on the line, you've been making risky choices, all those things to try to accomplish what you were trying to accomplish. And now all those risks that you took are paying back dividends, or there's a reward that's coming from it. Day one, let's take a look at the Lovers, Gemini. For some of you guys, it's a connection with a Gemini person. Venus is in Gemini, so Geminis are going to be getting a lot of attention at this time. But overall, your week is really focused on really strong connections with other people. Trust people you know, people you trust. I feel like they're going to be your go-tos, but you don't really need a go-to at this time, because I feel like you know what's important in your life and what isn't. You have your priorities really straight at this time. Page of Pentacles, something new, a new connection with someone possibly. There could be a new love connection, being physically attracted to someone new at this time. Tuesday, I feel like initiation of a new energy and a new direction. I feel like you are making choices of what to put into your life, what to contribute into your life, and you're selecting from a bunch of different things in front of you what to put in into your life. Something new is being incorporated. Wednesday, we have the Judgment card, the Last Judgment, which is run by Pluto. Pluto's in opposition to the Sun, and Pluto's in loose conjunction with Saturn and with Jupiter this time. Your decision, you're reflecting upon some decision about a relationship. I feel like it's giving you like expectation on priorities about what's important and what is not. Okay, next card, we have the Two of Cups, which is Thursday, and this means that I feel like you are kind of a master of your world, and there's a profound connection that you're drawn towards. I feel like there is real clarity in your life about who should be in your life, whether you know them or not. You know exactly. I think it's someone who you know that you're thinking about, and you're either bringing them in or they're already there and you're enjoying your time together and making some plans. Friday, we have the Two of Wands, taking things. So you've done, it's like Aquarius energy is never settled for long, and that's why people have a hard time with Aquarius. They achieve something and then almost immediately they start looking to expand their world. It's you guys don't stick to something. That's why I call you the weirdos. You just like, you make yourself happy. You find, okay, this is where I need to be. And then you almost immediately leverage that to go somewhere else. And that's how Aquarians become extremely successful, is you leverage what you have towards new experiences. And so I think very quickly you are preoccupied with new things to focus on. You are preoccupied with like the next adventure, the next plateau, the next thing you want to achieve. Saturday, you have the Eight of Pentacles, hunkering down. I think this is the same as Sagittarius. Hunkering down. This is the North Node with the moon in Gemini, a sister sign to you. So I feel like you're very much getting ready towards something else. You've conquered one thing, and now you're already beginning a new adventure. And then we have the Queen of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. There's indeed a very soul connection here for you and someone else this week. So you find profound love in your spiritual or emotional connection with someone. You feel their heart. They're just, you know, when you meet somebody and they have the same kind of, they make sense. I sense that for you, that you are with someone who makes a lot of sense in the world, who has the same vision, who understands right and wrong in the same way as you do. Who do? You remind me of the Babe. Okay, so next sign. Then we have Virgo, which we've done. And then Gemini, which we've done. And then did I do Gemini? No, I haven't done Gemini, right? Gemini. Sorry, guys. Let's do this. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Sorry, I had to tune you guys out because that was so funny. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at cards. Aquarius is lit. If you have Aquarian transits, get excited. Actually, a lot of energy is good. Gemini, this card jumped out, okay? And so we have Temperance, Sagittarius. Careful. Okay, careful. 7 cards for Gemini. 1 day for every day of the week. You choose your order, or you can go alongside with my order, okay? Gemini is great. Gemini moon is one of my favorite moons. I love them so much. People with a Gemini moon are so freaking funny. They're just so, it's such a fun, like, they're just so funny. They're like they're like the good-natured humor, which I love. Like you know when people laugh at corny jokes, and not because they're corny, but they just like sweet jokes, and that's a Gemini moon at its best. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's rock and roll. We have the Four of Swords. So yeah, I definitely feel like for you this week, Gemini, it's holding, like, chill out, go slow, just absorb everything that's been going on. Take it easy. Let's see the next message. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter. And so good luck is coming in your corner. I would hold back and wait in order to harness it. I think that you have for yourself seen certain things. That's the downloads from before. Seen certain things about your life and about how to approach things. You've seen BS around, but you've dealt with that, so that's great. And now you're eager to move forward, but I think with the good luck that's coming in for you on Tuesday, I don't think it's yet time to go. I don't think it's time yet to go with things. I feel like you need to, like a good wine, you want to let it sit a little bit. You want to let it kind of come into its own qualities. Then we have the Lovers, Gemini, on Wednesday. I think that it's going to become easier and easier for you this week. We have the moon entering into Gemini over here. So Gemini moon right here. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you should be feeling better and better and better. And so on Wednesday, I feel like maybe like just coming into your own, things becoming easier, smoother. People come to your help. People come to your aid. Thursday, we have the Two of Pentacles carefully starting to go. So your D-Day is Thursday, Gemini. You're supposed to begin the path that you're on Thursday, carefully moving things along and taking it one step ahead of the next, and beginning whatever you begin something on Thursday. Friday, we have the Sun in Gemini, Ten of Swords. Some people really have a hard time with this card. It's not a bad card. It just means that this is the disassociation from the past, like the things that you cared about so much before, the things you invested all your time into. It's just like time to let it go because something new is beginning. So you're going to release whatever old attachments on Friday. That might come in the form of having someone from your past ask you to hang out and saying no thanks, or you would have done something on Friday like gone shopping, but instead you choose some other direction and not feel bad about it. So there's definitely this disassociation, disconnection from something that was important to you before but no longer fits the matrix you're in. The next message is the Three of Pentacles. And so everybody's having a very productive, it's like nose to the grindstone. And one of the undercurrents of what I talked about in the beginning section, it was about this, like, we all recognize what we need to do. So now we need to work on doing it, right? Now, so, and like getting really honest. You can't, how do you say, speak to things or address issues without really getting honest and facing your own facing your own demons, facing the ways that you do things wrong, because it will, whatever you push towards will fall apart if you don't face yourself first, right? Or it's going to just be hypocrisy and it's not going to go anywhere anyway. So again, this is the North Node with the moon, happens every single month. This is the day it happens, the 18th of July. And so a lot of people are getting like, do what you're good at, put time in what you're doing, spend time on your work, and you'll do fine. And then the outcome on Sunday, Hierophant. So somebody's going to church. Hey, Gemini, hey. So there's this go to church, take me to church. If you don't go to church, then I feel like you have it's a very quiet week for you, Gemini, very much contemplative. Good luck coming in for you. There's definitely feeling a connection and the support of the people around you. But I think that also at the same time, rest and allowing for things to kind of grow. You You can't make something grow faster than it already is. Okay? So, good. Just let it grow. Okay. So, here we go. Next sign, we have Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hi, Libras. Libra is still shining bright. You have such bright energy at this time. Very good Libra energy. And I'm going to put 7 cards down so you guys can choose your order or go alongside with me. Libra's very, very good energy at this time. So it's hard to have good energy when the world is kind of crazy, right? So remind yourself that it is your good energy and you must do the best you can with what it is. Like, you have to do the best with what you've got, right? So it's not about them, it's about you, Libra. Let's see the first message. We have the 7 of Wands. Okay, so you, Libra, now are going to face some oppositional energy this week, which means that you have had a month or 2 of establishing yourself and your goals and going in a certain direction. So you had your time to talk, and now you're going to hear the world kind of revert back from you. Other people are going to say things. Someone might, I don't know, just confront you on something, question you on something. Why are you doing this? Or so this is your opportunity to, I mean, if everybody was always just approving of who we are and what we're about, then we would fall into hypocrisy too. So you have to sort of in some way be confronted with opposition energy to understand what you are. So you need to speak up for yourself on Monday. You need to say your piece loudly. And then on the second day, we have the 3 of Swords. It's a real unveiling of who's who in your life, Libra. So I get the messages that people like these readings because they do have like an air of like honesty and truth. So I'm never going to tell you guys something's not happening, you know, when it is. So when we assert ourselves, when we rock the boat per se, then sometimes people are not so happy about it. But I think that that's a good thing. So you see the writing on the wall. You see how they feel about you. You see how they think about you and what you are to them. So you see the writing on the wall. Then we have Justice, Libra, fairness and order. This is not going to be an issue. I think that you're coming in the early part of the week into the realization of who's your friend and who's not. And I feel like, you know, the person who's patting you on the back, that kissing your ass isn't your friend. The person who tells you something, maybe. This is not necessary. It's not going to turn to sour. It's going to be a situation where you understand something. Somebody's telling you the truth. And yeah, I saw The Favorite recently, the one with the Queen Anne and the Duchess, right? The Duchess Sarah, her longtime friend and companion, and she was the one who was like telling her the truth and what she felt was good for the country. And then there was Abigail, who was the you know, like the girl that was hitting on the queen because she thought she could get into her skirt, you know, that kind of thing. And so the people who give, and I think people should watch this video. I think it's a profound movie about how we need to stop just looking to people for affirmation of good experiences, and the people who are telling us truth are sometimes the people who are watching out for us. And you know, and in some cases when you're watching out for yourself and someone's bothered by that, it's like then you know that person's not right for you. And by Wednesday, I think you'll make sense of all this. I think you'll find like everything's going to come back into equilibrium. Everything's going to become kosher. Thursday, we have the Hierophant. A lot of Taurus energy going on right now. That's that Mercury with Uranus I mentioned in the intro. So on Thursday, I feel like you are going to gain profound understanding of your current situation. I feel like you are going to gain profound understanding of what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with. So far, you've had a clear road ahead to push forward with what you want, Libra. And now I feel like you see the real world, how it's integrating into your life. And that's great because then you know how to deal with it. Friday, we have the Four of Swords. Take a rest, Libra. Go slow. This is a week in which you really position yourself. You've been like, it's like working on a great project that's going to change your life, and you start integrating it into your life by the midweek. On Saturday, we have the Six of Swords. Moving on from something, moving towards something better. You have earned for yourself a new direction, and you're heading there. And then on Sunday, Ten of Swords. I'll tell you, Libra, I wasn't expecting this, but this is a part of growth and expansion. This is you releasing something or someone that's holding you back. So this is definitely saying goodbye to something or someone, Libra, and you understand 100% why it's happening or why you want to do it that way. There's no question in your mind why, okay? So here is the next message. We have Gemini, which we've done. We have Aries. Hi, Aries. Let's take a look. Aries has been coming up really strong. You guys have beautiful transits this year in the 10th house, right? That's what we usually see, the Aries chart. That's your chart. So right now, in some way, you're probably feeling this profound confrontation, and Mars creating a conjunction in Aries with Chiron is profound. It's making you feel very motivated to go after your dreams and be the person who you want to be, Aries. Let's take a look. And there's this kind of like screw the system, but I really want to say the F word. That you're feeling, like whatever system that you're dealing with, anything that's holding you back, it could be just a steel wall between you and your goals right now, and you could have the attitude like, screw this is, like, it's just, no matter, there's this like a strong force within you right now to just not be intimidated. Day one, the Fool. You're just ready to go. You're ready to go and achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Day two, Monday. This is Pisces energy. There's someone around you who's throwing confusion and obscuring your vision of things, Aries. If you would be left alone in your own direction, then you would just go forward and go and do whatever. You're supposed to do what you feel about doing on Monday, because what's on Tuesday will teach you what is your greatest adversary at this time. Where is the doubt coming from? Who is it? What kind of situation is putting doubt in your mind? So day one, whatever day you chose, day Monday, that's where you need to go. Whatever's happening Monday, that's your direction. Day two is your fear, your shadow. And pay attention to that too, because then you'll know what it is. You'll know who and what it's coming from. Is it jealousy? Is it confusion? Is it someone not understanding what you're doing? So very powerful self-awareness. And when you know what the problem is and you know where the goal is, nothing should stop you. So now that's why I'm seeing this sense that there's like an iron wall and you're not even bothered. Day three, which is the Eight of Swords. It's like, now that you know what, you're going to spend the day thinking, like, what do I do about it? How do I deal with it? You know exactly where you want to go, and you know what the obstacle is. Now, Wednesday is like you figuring out what to do about it. Thursday, a friend brings information to, in some way, help you along. A friend brings you information to help the situation. There's going to be something that draws your attention from thinking about these things, and so you will start thinking about whatever, something else sparks up another situation. Friday, we have the Three of Wands, and so I think that you're waiting for something to develop before you can pursue that direction. And I feel like you're going to have to wait for something to happen. So if you're going somewhere, you have to wait for the date for the plane. If you're moving, then you have to wait for the date for the plane. If you're beginning something, you have to wait for that specific time. Or if you're waiting for something, something has to come in for you before you go in that direction. Saturday, we have the Four of Cups. And so Saturday, Four of Cups, and you're going to get help. Remember, this is the day in which the North Node creates a conjunction with the Moon in Gemini, and that's going to be a breakthrough day. It happens every single month for all of us, and for you, it's going to be something's going to come in that's going to help you. Something is going to help you on your journey. And then we have Seven of Wands, which is sticking up for yourself. I feel like you've been quiet on something with regard to people around you because you've been waiting for the right time to do what you're going to do anyway. So you've been just quietly listening to what they have to say. And I don't feel like you're confronting it. I feel like you're doing something on Sunday that is to support your goals and your vision, despite the fact that you might have some kind of opposition. This is like wanting to go to art school and your family's like, well, you should be an accountant, but quietly you're still going to art school. You're just not going to confront them on it. You're not going to, you're just going to do it. And it might not be from a bad place. It might be just from the fact they don't understand, that you're an artist and not a accountant, right? So you don't have to convince them. You're just quietly going in that direction. Okay. So next sign, Cancer. Sun, Moon, and Rising. Cancer energy. How many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 more. Okay, so we have Cancer. Okay, let's rock and roll. Hi, guys. These are heavy readings. It's the opposition to Capricorn energy. Holy moly. Knock you on. Go slow, you guys, this week, no matter what your sign is. Go slow and be patient. It's an intense week. And it only happens once a year. So, and it won't happen with this stellium ever again. So this is it. Okay? So if you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, it's the big questions, but it's also the time for us to recognize what needs to change and why. Okay, so 7 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Cancer. Choose your own order or come along with me. Day 1 or card 1, we have the Devil. So you're in your placements. Cancers are you guys tired? You guys must be tired, right? With all this opposition to Capricorn. This is the Capricorn card. So Cancer, you see BS for what it is a lot this year, but especially right now. And happy birthday to you guys who are having birthdays. I'm more feeling the energy of like, you see it as clear as day what the problem is. And one of the problems, and you've been spending some time to is to try to help other people to understand it. And a lot of what I said in the intro has to do with that. And it can feel very disempowering because there will always be that loud Chad, Jake in the crowd that yells to make you quiet, whether it's your personal life or whether it's a group thing. Just know that this week is the week in which that probably feels the most intense. It feels the most intense for all of us, what we're up against. And there could be some politically in the world, some really large things that come to pass this week where we're like, holy crap, like they're flexing their muscles, and you see how they're flexing their muscles, whoever it is, whatever you're dealing with, okay? But also a powerful connection, an intimate connection with someone, a desire towards someone, a love for someone. Then we have the Six of Pentacles, Cancer. Okay, so money comes in for you big this week. Money comes in. There's a lot of, by Tuesday, you're being generous with someone else, giving to someone after you see a certain degree of profit, right? And day number 3, Wednesday, we have 10 of Pentacles, loyalty. I see you as really turning to people who helped you out a lot and giving towards them love that they have given you, Cancer. So there's that loyalty and trust and fidelity. There's a real like giving back to the people that love you. Thursday, day 4, we have the 8 of Wands. And so I feel like new information's coming. This isn't your family. This is something, maybe a new relationship or maybe something new coming in, but there's on Thursday information coming to you that is of a supportive nature, that is here to give you some encouragement to way forward. So you spend time with family, find success, money coming in, you're thinking about the world, screw the system, right, Cancer? Thinking about your relationships, thinking about loyalty and trust. And then on Thursday or day 4, you have some love coming in, love, encouraging messages, someone else wants to join the party. And then day 5, we have the Hermit, Virgo. Careful consideration, thinking about your relationships with others. It's hard for you because you're not thinking only about yourself, you're thinking about your family a lot at this time, so you need a lot of time and distance away to like think about where things are happening for you and them. And then Saturday we have the 7 of Swords. You have to release something on Saturday. This is the conjunction in Gemini between the moon and the North Node. Cancer, it's not an easy conjunction for you at this time. When it was in Cancer, it was easier, but for the next year and a half, every month, you're going to have awareness of things that are uncomfortable that you in one day a week, a month, sorry, not a week, one day a month in which you will come to realize that you have to release something in order to make it all work. It's that hypocrisy that I was mentioning. My Venus is in Cancer, so a lot of times when I speak from the heart, it's a lot of Cancerian energy. And a lot of this, I hope, translate what I said in the intro about personal things. Translate like for your personal life and your feelings. In some way, you're going to have to make a working system by releasing your attachment to some things, because there's people around you that are more important than being attached to that idea or whatever it is you're attached to that thing, the value that you are holding. You're being challenged on something. So basically, you only get 4 or 5 priorities, and something has to get pushed out of that so you can focus on the 5 and make them work. There's people in your life that are important, that depend on you letting go of the 6th thing. It's like being in a hot air balloon with those sacks of sand, right? They have to chop them down sometimes if there's not enough pressure to elevate the balloon and keep it going. On Saturday, you have an awareness of something in your life in which you have to let it go. You have to let something go. It's inconvenient. And then we have the Tower on Sunday. You're not the only one to get a big breakthrough moment. We have a new moon on Monday. So maybe telling someone that you're no longer available to spend time with them. There's some kind of release energy that you're shifting your priorities towards people who matter in your life, and that's going to have a consequence on your life outside of that. And you're shifting your attention and your priorities, and you will be spending time with the people that matter, and therefore you're releasing some things in your life that don't, frankly. Okay? And it's like, it's a hard decision because you wish you could have time for everything, but you have to prioritize here. Okay, Virgo, we've done. Libra, we've done, right? Libra, we've done. We have 3 more. Capricorn, we've done. We've Taurus. Who else? Yeah, I had that too. 2 towers. Thanks for keeping track, Maruda. So Taurus. Who are we? Where are we at? Help me here. Who's left? Well, I guess Taurus. Is there a Taurus and Pisces, right? Taurus and Pisces and Leo. Thanks, guys. Leo. Okay. Hi, Leo. Let's take a look at your week. Okay. Let's see what's going on. One. And I promise no more heavy talks on, well, if something comes up that's worth a heavy talk, I'll talk about it, but it's more the energy than what happened. It's more like, you know, it's important to say I'm not one to shy away from saying things that need to be said, if that makes sense, because I always try to operate through truth and authenticity. Okay, so Leos, meow meow, guys. Hi guys, how are you doing? I can't even say that word. I feel cuter already. I wasn't going to say that word. I was going to say another word, but anyway. So, let's get our mojo going. It's your birthday time. Hey. Okay, so next week, not this week. Let's see. Ace of Cups. Oh, Leo, new relationships afoot. New relationships, new feelings, new connections. Maybe a new connection with someone, Leo, Monday, day 1. Or this is the pace of the week, new relationships, okay? Day 2, Knight of Pentacles, you're on a roll. Everybody's kind of hitting the, like working, you know, getting their kind of grounded and moving forward with a certain direction. A person comes into your life. Some of you are forming a connection with an earth sign, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Some of you are making long-term plans that are going to work out. Day 3, we have the Four of Pentacles. A lot of people are getting this, especially like Scorpio got this a lot. It's just pacing about things. It's a weird time right now, so there's places and things we want to do and go, but we're going to make our choices about when it's best to do that so we don't screw it up, right? So you make your plans, you go. I feel like you're going to cancel some plans this week, Leo, and I feel like you're going to do things closer to home instead. And while doing things closer to home, I feel like you are going to, while you're doing things closer to home, I feel like you are going to meet someone or have an important experience that's going to lead to good things. Thursday, Six of Swords, moving on, moving past situations, moving towards a certain direction, and new adventures await, new possibilities on the horizon. Moving forward, the time, you're waiting for the right time. Something holds you back for a couple days. You spend time closer to home. Yeah. And then later on, you start going in with whatever it is that you initiate. Okay. Then we have the Six of Lovers, the 6 arcana. And so I feel like a lot of people are reaching back to people whom they trust, people with whom they find love, and people, there's that reaching back sort of energy that you're feeling a lot, and feeling very Friday, day of love, connectivity, friendship. There's, to the forefront, the people that matter are really becoming clear in your life, Leo. And then we have the High Priestess on Saturday, insight and intuition. And so I feel like this is the conjunction in Gemini, which is a sister sign to you of the moon and the North Node. So if you're going along with me and this is your Saturday, I feel like you are going to get, I think maybe you're hazy about where things will go because you don't have all the information. The facts are not all in, Leo. And so you will, by Saturday, receive intuitive information to give you insight about where you're going. That's why I think you're holding back. I see that now. Like you're making plans, but you don't really know everything about where you're going yet. It's coming. And then we have the King of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. If you're dealing with an Aquarius, they have a lot of things in line for you, a lot of really good supportive energy. If you're not dealing with an Aquarius, if this is just the King of Swords, I feel like it's you. I feel like you're going to gain insight about where you're going with things, and I feel like you are going to understand something about your situation through intuition. It's not going to be facts. Facts is like, how do you say this? Like definitive facts. You're being given the evidence, whatever. No, this is intuition. Like you get a feeling about something and you feel, you have an insight. How do I explain it? You have an insight about something, about the direction you want to go. An insight that inspires you of where you're going. Okay? Okay, so last but not least, two more signs, Pisces and Taurus. So, Pisces and Taurus. Pisces next. Hey, it's time to get weird, y'all. Okay, so let's do this. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hi, everyone. How's my Pisces? You guys must be doing great. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Maruda, and thanks, Maruda, for all the help with the time caps and stuff. Okay, day 1, Pisces, let's go. We have okay, so there's going to be a lot of information coming into your life at this time. There is definitely a lot of different, on Monday, day 1, it starts people bringing you all sorts of information. Here's some downloads for Pisces. You're just minding your business. You're just doing great. And information, messengers coming in, things that you have to pay attention to. Okay, next message, we have the 8 of Swords. And so we have the 8 of Swords, which is the trying to find a solution. It's almost like somebody's asking you to deal with something that you don't really want to deal with, Pisces. It feels like there is someone who's reaching out to you with information that about things that, like, you're fine where you're at, and somebody is saying, like, but you got to pay attention to this, and so you got to pay attention to this, and so you're like, oh shoot, like now I have to deal with this. That's Tuesday. A lot of people got this. This has a lot to do with Mars with Chiron. It's like, it is a little bit, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of energy of like facing the music on things, you know? Wednesday we have the Fool, which means a brand new beginning. I think that you're fine with where you're at. You're fine with what you're doing. And I feel like you really don't want to get bothered with all this stuff, but it is what it is. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles, lots of people working hard. Pisces, I think you're going to be, there's something that's out. Okay, so there's your sphere of influence. Here's your bubble, and you're happy within it. From outside of your bubble, there's something that you need to deal with, but you're happy with your bubble and it's going great. I know that sounds like here we're getting weird, right? And whatever is going on in your bubble is happening just fine, but there is something else that you have to deal with on some level. Wednesday, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, Friday, day 5. Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, personal boundaries. It's all like, you know, it's when people call you on your day off regarding work, or like you're in your garden. That's the vision, is that you're in your garden, you're having fun, it's sunny and warm, and somebody's asking you to stop your recreation and go back to the outside world. And this is on Friday. You're going to really understand that for what it is. It's like, don't pull me outside of my space. But there's also that feeling that, yeah, I need to deal with this. This is stuff I need to take care of. And then Saturday, we have the Strength card, which is the card of Leo. And so I feel like it's going to take you a while to face whatever information you receive at the beginning of the week, but I feel like you'll be finally ready on Saturday, okay? And then we have Sunday, the 9 of Wands. And so I just think you're going to go back to your garden. You're going to go back to your bubble. There's something that you need to address from outside of your home, your bubble, your family time, whatever it is, your garden. But I feel like, and you do need to take care of it. You do need to, you need to take care of it. It's not a chore. It's not horrible. It's just I'm sensing irritation that you in some way have to, you have to go outside of your bubble. You have to go outside of what you want to do, outside of the things you care about, towards something exterior. And you take your sweet time with doing that. But when you do, it's going to be fine. Okay, so last but not least, Taurus. Thanks, guys, for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real and to help other people see this video. Okay, so let's rock and roll. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Now let's take a look at your reading. 7 cards. You choose the order, or you can go along with me. 7, 7, 7. 7 cards, 7 days, 7 readings. Okay, let's rock and roll. Let's see this. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. How are you guys doing? Let's take a look. We have this week 9 of Swords. Oh, Taurus. Okay. You see what's wrong with your situation. You're painfully aware of where the crack is. You know exactly what's wrong. Sorry, I have like something in my throat. You know exactly what the problem is with the situation, and now you're being called upon to address it. And then we have the 2 of Cups. Very close connection on Tuesday with someone, loving energy with someone. Somebody brings you love. I think you spend time with someone. You enjoy your time with them. Wednesday, you have the 6 of Cups. This may go on for a couple days. There's real profound maybe you're being called upon to turn towards someone this week, Taurus. I feel like possibly there's like a harsh reality that you see on day 1 or Monday. I think that you see something about your circumstances that prompts you to, in some way, make a change. Or on day 2 and 3, there's definitely this change in the fact that you're with someone who you love a lot. Your heart's with them. There's a profound connection, profound understanding. Then we have the Last Judgment, which is a big decision that's made on Thursday. It's made on the day of Jupiter, so very likely day 4. Very, very important decision about your relationship with someone. I think this is fear about making a decision about a relationship that you are about to make. So on the first day, or Monday, I think that in some way you are, first day or Monday, you are aware that you have to make a decision about someone you love a lot. Okay? And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo, and I think that you're working towards that direction. I feel like it's time to face the music, Taurus. A lot of people are getting like hard work energy, working towards something, that sort of thing. And I feel like it's almost like time to grow up a little bit, time to grow up. Saturday, we have the 2 of Wands. You don't see where everything will go. On Saturday, you're going to have a vision. North Node with the moon in Gemini. I feel like that's going to give you something to work towards, awareness of where you need to work. Some of it is going to be inconvenient. It's just the nature of where the North Node is for Tauruses right now. You're being called upon to challenge your life. And through that challenge, you will get what you want. Okay? So it's like you throw away something that's not serving you. Emperor energy. I think this is a week for you of readjustment towards going in the direction of love. Going towards the direction of relationships that are important to you. I think that this is basically saying stop doing the activities that are taking you away from going in that direction and make active choices. This is the time in which it's like, if you're non-committal, this really feels like non-committal energy, where you were like, I want to be single, and then now it's like, oh, well, you know, I've been with this person for 2 years. I really need to face the music on this. So there is this kind of, how do you say, there is this sort of energy of, you know, yeah, I gotta go in this direction. It's not bad, but it's like, it's time for you to, like, if you love them, if they love you, this is the time for you to go in that direction, and you will see great outcomes. But you got to put the actions behind the sentiments. Okay? Thanks for hearing me out, you guys. I hope you have a great week. I'm working to get back full time with you guys now. So check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter for dailyish. I hope you guys are doing great, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye.